Hi, my name is Slater. I'm going to be talking about our work on disturbance and plausibility in a virtual rock concert. So this project involves recreation of historical concerts in virtual reality. This was Dire Straits at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, 1983. The project involves computer vision, agent-based models, and the study of presence in past events, amongst other things. Our question for this first pilot study was, how would people respond to the virtual concert? Normally we would consider presence, place illusion, plausibility, but this was a new area of research for us. We didn't want to impose our preconceived ideas. Instead, participants wrote at least 100 words about their responses. Participants had to have an Oculus Quest at home. We had data recorded for 20 participants from 5 different countries. There was only one question they had to answer to describe their experience with a free-form response. The implementation involved convolutional neural networks, crowd animation and rendering, Hammersmith Odeon modeling using Blender, all integrated in Unity 3D. The analysis used sentiment analysis, which relies on a database of millions of words, each associated with a positive or negative score for valence, using MATLAB's text analytics toolbox. The sentiment score for each participant response is the mean score of its relevant words. Then we used k-means clustering over the sentiment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please welcome to the stage, Dire Straits!
So here are the clusters. 4 clusters emerged from low to very high sentiment scores. In addition to the clusters, we identified themes. A theme is salient if it contributed at least 10% of the total words, or if its correlation with the sentiment scores was high. So here are some examples. General positive, the experience was like being at a gig. Positive sounds, the audience's applause. And a disturbing theme emerged, like 2 creepy looking people, predators. If I kept dancing while I look at them, they would come close to talk to me. And failure of expectation, like I kept trying to interact with the people around me, they didn't interact back. Sometimes the audio wasn't in sync with the actions of the crowd. These are the clusters of sentiment scores by the themes, like cluster 1, which had the lowest sentiment scores, has the highest disturbing theme, whereas cluster 4, which had the highest sentiment scores, has by far the lowest disturbing theme. This is more examples of general plus theme. It was great. I had a lot of fun. I liked it a lot when the musicians were dressed realistically. Knopfler with the red headband and the suits, and that was how I knew them. Sounds plus, the spatial sound actually makes it feel like an actual concert. The disturbing theme, incredibly unnerving, immersed in the weird nightmare I found myself in. I was creeped out, reminded me of how alone and strange I was to be placed in some nightmare like that. Expectation, failure of expectation. The performers didn't interact with the crowd didn't interact with them. The drumming sometimes wasn't in sync visually with the sound. So studies are most illuminating when the results are unexpected. The disturbing theme was a great surprise. We thought this was the most innocent experiment we'd ever done. You put people in a rock concert and they watch and listen to a band. The disturbing theme, though, illustrates strong plausibility of the experience because obviously in reality nothing was happening, but people interpret it as so. Some women, for example, even fearing they were going to be sexually harassed by the audience around them. Another requirement of plausibility is that events match expectation. Some experts at concerts, I guess, realized that even the light reflecting from the guitar strings wasn't correct. There were massive individual differences. On the one hand, I had a lot of fun. On the other hand, it was a weird nightmare. So this was a pilot study. There were no hypotheses or statistical inferences, small sample sizes, but we did introduce sentiment analysis to quantify qualitative results. The most important finding is we would never have discovered the disturbing theme if we'd relied on pre-cut questionnaires about presence. I've emphasized the disturbing theme, but of course for many it was highly enjoyable. This all feeds into our ongoing work. We're working on a PC graphics card-based version that hopefully after the pandemic people will be able to experience. So here's how that looks. This work is funded by European Research Council project Motive. Thanks for your attention.